So I just recently finished the book Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. And while I think it was an interesting book and it had some good potential, overall, I think it was lacking a little bit. I think it could have done a lot more. The book starts off with a typical high school boy talking about how he was surviving, how he survived all the way through his senior year. And that was by being friendly to everybody, but being a friend to really nobody. Just deciding, to skirt the fringes of all the groups. He did have one friend. His name was Earl. And Greg, the narrator, the me in the title, Greg and Earl made videos. But apparently they didn't think much of their videos. They thought they were pretty bad. They burned them to DVDs and they watched them, but they never showed them to anybody else. They wouldn't let anybody else watch them. They believed they weren't good enough. And that people probably just wouldn't understand them. They were inspired by indie films and kind of art films, maybe some experimental films that they had watched who Greg's father had exposed them to. At some point, Greg's mother comes to him with a request to spend more time with a girl named Rachel, a girl who was recently diagnosed with and then was going under treatment for leukemia. Greg, of course, knew her from Hebrew school in elementary and middle school, and he had even tried to start a relationship with her. But it didn't end very well, and Rachel pretty much, remembered that, and it kind of hurt her a little bit. So they had this awkward friendship. Along the way, Earl, against Greg's wishes, shares the DVDs of their really bad movies with Rachel. And Rachel really enjoys them. She talks all about how much she liked them. Well, later on, as her treatment starts to fail, she returns home. One of Rachel's friends, who had not seen the movies, Rachel was the only person that had seen them other than Greg and Earl, one of her friends convinces Greg to make a movie for her, to cheer her up. She said, I haven't seen the movies, but I hear that she really likes them. She says she really likes them. Would you please make her a movie? Greg and Earl attempt several different ways to make movies. They tried sock puppets, claymation. They even did the, confessional in front of the webcam for a YouTube video. In the end, they had a mashup of all the different failed attempts that they did. Rachel does enjoy the movie. She does appreciate the movie. But Rachel's mother and Greg's mother, behind their backs, convinces the school to show them to the student body. That causes a huge rift in Earl and Greg's relationship, and also really opens them up to the ridicule of the student body. The ending of the book, I was rather disappointed in really the kind of leading up to the end. I kept seeing all these places where something was going to happen, like it was leading to something. Like maybe the films were not nearly as bad as everybody thought. Or, maybe Greg and Rachel, would strike up some sort of friendship, maybe even a romance. I just kept waiting for something else to happen, the other shoe to fall, and I just never felt like we got there. That of all the things that were going on, it just never reached a point. The book originally was not on my radar. I had heard about it because it was being made into a movie. NPR had interviewed its author, and so it kind of fell back on my radar, and then I found it at the library. So I gave it a chance. I'm glad that I read it. It does make me a little more aware of things. But overall, I was unimpressed. On my 5-tier bookshelf, I put it on the second shelf.